Boom! Hi, YouTube. I'm Creamsamir. Those are the Seekers of Galanti. This is the second wake. It's episode 50. As always, I do a question mark in case I have to edit the episode. So far, we're like 20 for 20 because we're not 21 because I think like 21 episodes away, I messed up the number. So get at me. No one's in the comments anyway. Boop, 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 boop. All right, so when we last left on Second Wake, the group had returned home to the wonderful world of Dyrwood. They had spoken with the Lady Galanti after a long and arduous journey, decisions having to be made, both difficult and emotional in scope. They spoke with the lady regarding a number of parcels of mail that had been awaiting them for quite some time, each of them going to their rooms and finding various different things awaiting them, except for some of our newcomers are a little short on the mailage, but you know, there's always fun things to open when you're a group. Coming across, they came through and procured a number of packages that need to be opened, a number of magical items that had been delivered from various potential allies or current allies, people in good standing with the Seekers of Galanti. And some folks just tried to find peace in their own mind, seeking out the more baseline comforts of the world in an attempt to come home and immediately forget about everything that got you back home. Some were more successful than others, and that's kind of where we're at there as far as recovering sanity. At present moment, the Seekers are in various states. Velithil has absconded from her grouping to relax, calm down, and prepare for an evening dinner. JJ much in the same. Celeste got in a bitchin' midday nap, which honestly could not have been more proud about. That is the baller move to do, is you go, there's shit to do, there's decisions to be made, nap. And I'm like, girl, that's what's up. So yeah, that was cool. Cobalt Jones and Orville are returning home from a delightful grog house that was totally the name of the thing that I had going into it. Let nobody tell you that I didn't have Grama's Grog House written down, because I did, and you're a liar. So yeah, and Morgan is suspiciously missing from the current estate. And I think that is a great place to start. I think we start right with putting Morgan on the spotlight. I know how much she loves being on the spotlight. I think it's her favorite activity. I can't think of anything else in this game she likes more than when I directly call her out for whatever it is that she wanted to do. Right? Isn't that fun?
Man, what a joy, honestly.
You're welcome. So we bring ourselves here. I wonder if I can, let's see here. Yeah, I think these are both going to work. Yeah. Un momento, por favor. There we go. Bada bing, bada boom. Show me the room. There we go. Cool. Yoink. Dyrwood. Look at that. It's like I have, you know, I want to, can I do this to make it bigger? And then we can like, shoo-ba-doo-up. 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 This is what you can't get on professional streams, folks. That's called improvisation. All right, cool. We're not pre-recorded. We're doing this shit live. I shouldn't say that. Like, you know, production values are always a godsend. So, with that, we find ourselves far into the area of Dyrwood, which, yeah, Morgan currently finds herself north of Area 7, also known as the Underside. Through recent events and a receipt of mail, both for a personal request and mission that she could take up arms if she so chose. She also wanted to investigate what seems to be a hidden message left to her within a pale white card. In doing so, she has found herself on, again, north of Area 7, far on the left-hand side of our map here, right across the docks. She has entered into a bait and tackle shop. There within, a blonde, gnomish girl sits at the counter, her right eye horribly paled white and scarred, almost in a fishhook-like manner, now kind of like more or less looking over the morning paper and going through kind of city-based events. And Morgan has arrived in the shop. She has asked her The last thing I believe you asked her was apologizing for bothering her, that you had received a calling card and you're wondering if you could find out more about the person who sent it since it has the name of the shop on it. My question to you is, do you show her the card or you just talk about it?
I'm just gonna talk about it for now.
All right. You see this small gnomish girl kind of look up from her paper, narrow her eyes at you, and she goes, "We don't do any advertising. Sorry." He looks back down at the newspaper and continues to read.
Well, it was the strangest thing. It wasn't advertising. It just had the name of this shop. And a cute little picture of an owl.
And she looks back up and goes, "Ma'am, I know not about any owls or strange calling cards from men in your life, perhaps. Perhaps you have a secret admirer. If there's someone who comes asking for a daft half-elven tart, then I will send them right on your way. But if you don't have a need for fishing, then you're in the wrong spot."
That's fair. I'll pull it out and say, "Are you sure you don't know anything? I just want to cover my bases."
As you pull the card out and like flash it in front of her, you see her kind of pale, listless eye kind of like roll in its socket towards it. And she goes, "Oh, you are fishing. You look like the kind of lass who could use a vintage rod. I've just the one, there on the far corner, yours to keep."
It's very kind of you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. She
I'll walk over and look at it.
She returns to her morning newspaper. You look over this, like she points out to it, and you look, and there's like newer kind of fishing rods, tackle, line, hooks, all kind of lining this old wall. And as you get to this one in particular, there are actual like cobwebs that still cling to this old wooden, almost like a bamboo carved fishing rod. It has a single string that runs kind of like base to front of it. And it seems in kind of like states of disrepair. It's got a single kind of like almost padded hilt at the base of it that seems to be the only thing that's really like faceted on the whole fishing pole. If anything, you look at it and it's far beyond like a child's antique.
Okay, is there anything around it or...
Yeah, I mean, there's various other fishing implements, other rods of much more remarkable make, those made of metal or like kind of like a polished type of like processed wood and grain. Various ones have like small decorative effects across them. In particular, this is the only one that just seems strangely bland. Almost overly so.
Okay, I'll pick it up and kind of look it over.
Sure. Go ahead and give me an investigation check.
That is an 18.
An 18. All right. With an 18, you kind of like hold it in your hands a bit. You look it over, you inspect it for quality. It seems, again, out of all of the fishing rods here, it might be very much the worst quality-wise that you've come across. You doubt you'd be able to catch anything other than maybe like some very surface level smaller fish with it. There's not a lot of strength in the line, or the hook itself seems kind of like worn in, and there's a bit of rust that still clings to it. But with an 18, you do note, as you kind of like heft it in your hand and lightly tap your fingers across it, it is hollow.
Okay. I will obviously take it.
Okay.
And I think I will leave the shop.
All right. As you head for the door, the moment your hand kind of touches the handle, the small gnomish woman kind of calls out to you, and she goes, "Glad you found what you were looking for after all, lass. Of course, be sure to keep that to yourself. It's quite a special thing."
I absolutely will. Thank you for your help.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for the rod.
Of course, but they say when you're looking to fish, it's the rod that chooses.
I'll keep that in mind.
See that you do. And she turns and looks down and goes back to reading the paper, sitting again in this kind of like dimly lit and like creaky looking fishing shop.
Is there anything else that I notice about the shop? Like anything around, or is it just basic fishing?
Very basic things. Normally these kind of places would have trophies on the walls or like different types of pictures or things of that nature that would really be like, hey, these are like the top people that shop here. Like, hey, you want to buy these things. There'd be like different like promotional displays or things that would call attention and like calls to action, like buy this one. The strange thing and kind of vibe you get from here is that like every outward appearance screams vanilla, basic, normal, as much as possible. There is a kind of like a little tickle in the back of your mind, your mind palace, wherever that may be, filled with chubby cats. That it's almost like eerily so that this has been kind of like made and portrayed to be this way. There's nothing in particular that like is pointed out or otherwise alerting you to any type of like misgivings or anything of that sort. It's just a rather strange thing that there seems to be no care taken to trying and getting customers or selling merchandise. It's just very much, this is an old shop. It's been here for apparently a very long time, and there's just no drive, no motivation visible about either the owner or the proprietor of the shop.
Okay. And she's the only one in there.
She's all by herself, yeah.
Any back rooms or anything like that?
You look it over, and it doesn't seem to be. Go ahead and... You already rolled an 18 to investigate the fishing line. Go ahead and roll an investigation just for the shop itself. You kind of give it an old once-over from the door. You're kind of doing the... You're doing the trademark Tom Cruise look, which is you hold an open door, and then you do that one last look into the place you're leaving. You know, that real Steven Spielberg moment, as they often do.
It's a 25.
Oh, okay. Well, fucking... Here's my notes. It's all Universal puns. I just went to the parks, and now it's got to be all like, oh, yes, like an E.T., this one scene. No, okay. No, so you look over the area, and you kind of like give it the old once over, like kind of like last glances before it. You note that while there is no door to the back room, there's no reason why this place shouldn't have a back room. It looks and appears to be a very solid wall behind this woman and her small kind of like, it's not even like a formal counter. It's really just like a kind of a raised elevated table that she's sitting at. That's a bit bigger than like a gnome should need. But like the size of the room doesn't truly match up with the size of the building. It's close. It's very close. But something does feel a bit off that you assume or rather get the feeling that there's more to this shop than you can perceive at this time.
Okay. I will take my rod and I will head back. Can I like tuck it into my cloak?
Yeah, you can do. You're gonna do the old like I have a shotgun and a trench coat thing, and just
Yeah,
like
basically.
you're gonna lean it up against your rib cage and like arm forward, cupping it and like doing the old thing. Yeah, I'd say that you're a proficient rogue. You can totally do the I've got something in my jacket that no one knows about thing. I think that's fair. Yeah. And are you going to stealth back to the estate?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you make headway back to the Gulanti Estates. Again, we're looking at number 4. So clear cut across town that takes up most of your morning and mid-afternoon. As you return evening side, about the same time Orville and Jonesy are arriving back at the manor home. Many folks have settled in, cleaned up, or otherwise become ready for the evening nip that we have here. Most of the rest of the estate and its folks have already eaten supper at this point, and the Seekers of Gulanti, you all likely come together once more at the various sides of the serving area within the diner. of the Gulanti estate. It is mostly empty, save for a few members of the cook staff who, for one reason or another, seem to have been waiting for everyone to arrive or give word or notice that there would be no food for your team. But they stand ready, and of course the butler of the area casually informs you all that there is a steak tartare on tonight, with freshly crushed blue cheese that kind of runs across the sides of it, with a great wine varnished finish that is kind of just glazed over the side. The vegetarian option tonight is a mushroom stew. This may or may not be a dinner I'm having this week that I'm making myself.
Sounds so
Um,
good.
Did Buddy come with us, or is he still resting?
You look around the area. No Bartholomew at this point. But you all find yourselves within the dining hall. I assume, Morgan, you would have taken time to deposit your fishing rod. Unless you're just every kid from Pokemon that just carries all that shit in a backpack. And it's like, I got a good rod, a super rod. I've got a bicycle in this mother effer. Like, Pokemon Kid is definitely like a D&D adventurer, I feel like. They just got boundless pockets. Also, real quick thing, Cole's shorts, big guys, get on that shit, right? So if you're a bigger guy, you're like a size 38 plus waist. Real sidetrack here. This is why I can't have chat open. I have ADD at the wazoo. I get these new pair of shorts. I fit an entire 24-ounce thermos in one pocket. I felt like I was wearing Jinko jeans again. Minor shout out to that. I was so impressed. I had the whole thermos just down the front of my pants. It was great. Also, since there was ice in it, my thighs were chilly the whole day. All right, moving on. So yeah, Pokemon, or whatever. You guys find yourself in the dining hall.
I'll run it up to my room.
All right, you run it up to your room, you deposit all of your things, you come back down to join the rest of the group who have cleaned up for dinner, or if you're a certain kobold, gotten nice and pre-gamed before dinner on about a handful of whiskeys or so. But yeah,
I would
whiskey
go
goes a
and,
long way.
Hmm?
Whiskey goes a long way when you're 3 foot tall.
You're not wrong, especially dwarven whiskey. What was that, Vel?
I would go and check on Bartholomew and see if he wanted to join us.
Sure. You head over, you call to him, you knock on his door, no answer.
The door locked?
Nope. You turn the handle, look in. There are piles of the few different outfits that Bartholomew has worn in his time. One of the dressers is opened and rummaged through, and it does seem as if things are in a bit of state of disrepair, as if something either happened or occurred within this room, or Bartholomew was in a rush to leave it.
Can I do an investigation to see if there's any signs of struggle or oddness occurred?
Sure. Are you trained in investigation?
Yes.
Okay, then go right ahead.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's a total of an 8, but that's a natural 1.
Oh yeah, you look over the room. It is just disheveled and disrepair. There's a few things that are like personal effects and belongings to Bartholomew that are like neatly organized on the writing desk that's in the room. But past that, the bed sheets are unmade and very much fumbled through, even though Bartholomew doesn't technically sleep. The dressers have been kind of pulled open and left to hang, with like various items seeming to be pulled and rummaged through for them. There's a pile of like dirty clothes sat in the corner. And overall, it just seems like a bit of a mess of a room. No Bartholomew, No floating pokey sword. Nothing to speak of or notice from their absence.
Alright, I'll close the door and return to the group.
All right. Head back down. You return to the group. Everyone, you are sat in. The butler in charge asks if they can get you all anything to drink to get started for the evening, and asks about what you would like to eat for the evening.
Could I get some soup, please? Actually, a little bit of both, if possible.
Of course.
I get double soup.
Double soup. Of course, yes, we can do that.
Okay, cool. And ale, if you could.
We have ale. Would you like dwarven, elven, gnomish, halfling, or we do have a new type of grog that has been popularized by one of the Gromatin areas at this point.
Oh, that sounds a little bougie. Could we just go gnomish?
Gnomish it is, of course.
Sweet, thanks.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll have one of everything, please.
One of everything. You do realize our kitchen is fully staffed and stocked, that we might feed upwards of 20,000 guests at a time.
That's a lot.
It is indeed a lot.
One of everything that you've offered so far.
One of each of the grogs and one of the soups. Understood.
Yeah, wait, hang on. Didn't you say something about steak?
Yes, but no one had ordered the steak yet. Well, I suppose the madam here...
Actually, I want 2 of those.
2 steaks or 2 of the ales?
Both.
I can see that you have excelled at primary school, young master. I will have that prepared for you.
Alright, cool, thanks.
Yes, and for the rest of you.
Orville is going to shift to kobold form real quick.
He looks to you and goes, "Oh, your brother is here. Wonderful. So good that
No,
families stay
no.
together."
Just use your best judgment for me here. He'll be all right.
I will bring you whatever I bring him.
Orville will then shift back to being a goblin. And say, and for me, I will have the mushroom stew, please.
Of course, sir. As you wish. What will the madames be having? Gestures to both of our elven individuals.
Hey, wait a second. I want an extra mushroom stew, too. He can't have more than me.
Well, fortunate for you, he also ordered a second helping of everything you were having, young master, so we will have that all brought out to you.
Alright, cool.
Not to worry. I know you were very stressed out about it, and we can't have that here at the Grulanti estate. Especially not for the madame's #1 adventuring team.
Yeah, that's me.
It is indeed you, sir. Madames, might I take your orders?
I will have the soup, thank you. And some wine, please.
Of course. We have a number of wines on offer for you. Nothing is to be reserved or taken off the list at your leisure. Might you want enchanted or unenchanted, infused or non-infused wine?
Let's do unenchanted, infused.
Unenchanted but infused. Now, we do have a remarkable raspberry base that we've been working on. I personally find it to be quite delectable. In fact, it's more of a sangria. I would highly recommend it. It's been twice distilled and infused with a number of fermented berries.
That sounds lovely.
Wonderful. I'll put you down for a glass of the crimson blood. And for you, madam?
I will have the steak
Mm-hmm.
and whichever wine you would pair with that.
Of course. Not to be rude for you, but would you like your steak pre-cut?
Yes, thank you.
Of course, at your leisure. Now then, I will get your order started, and our server will have this out to you momentarily. Thank you all for joining us for dinner. And he walks back. You see this butler like chest out, head straight on his shoulders, arms folded behind his back, white gloves, and kind of like pushes the door to the back end. And you start hearing like kind of like his voice kind of like echoing through and issuing orders to that. And you all are left at the dining table to discuss current world events, sports, news, whatever you'd like.
Hey, Orville, do you think it's kind of weird that he didn't ask to cut our steaks?
No, not really. Kobold. We have two arms. Bill, well, doesn't.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't want my steak cut anyway.
Also, I'll shift back to kobold form. Open my mouth. Look at these chompers.
Does it just look like my teeth?
Yeah.
Yeah, they look like your teeth. He specifically points out the one that has a cavity.
Oh my god, that's so impressive.
Yeah, you could like chew through a log or something with these. These are sharp.
Adventures in body
Yeah.
swapping.
Yeah, be careful. I still have vampire teeth, but
That's true.
See,
They got very long incisors.
We'll go
so
back
does
to
he
being a
have
goblin.
those too?
No, when he switches to you, he doesn't have them. Those are technically a magical item. They are
Okay, cool.
consumable.
That's why we're brothers and not the same.
Heyo. Fraternal. So, before too long, as you guys are kind of just cutting the fat, you see the back door open, and you're, oh. And coming out with a very large tray in an ill-fitting butler's uniform, and dish rag tucked into the front of his pants, you see Bartholomew Uridan, a large sword behind him, as he walks forward and goes, good afternoon. Oh, good evening, Seekers. Yes, here you are. And sets down his tray and starts handing out your drink orders to the rest of you. He goes, so good to see you. It's been a rather busy dinner schedule. So, yes, might I get you anything to get started on? Maybe some breadsticks or croutons or nice salad?
Bartholomew, why are you...
Stick sounds so good.
Oh, yes.
No, stop.
What?
What are you doing?
Hey, Dad.
I'm
Dad,
looking.
can you get me a steak? I need a starter steak.
Oh,
an
you already
appetizer
have
steak.
You have 3 on order, I think. You need a 4th?
wait, hold on.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, okay. I'll put a note for a 4th. That's fine.
Wait, no, hang on.
There was an
no,
orcish
just bring
fellow
one out
earlier.
early.
He had like 5. What?
No, never mind. Hang on. I changed my mind. Bring one out early as my appetizer.
Oh, so you wanted like true rare. Like
Yeah,
blue.
sure. I mean, no, but yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Okay, well,
Whatever.
I mean, if it's early, then they soak it in like a mushroom sauce. It's very good.
They serve the steak in a mushroom sauce?
No, they like soak it in the sauce and then they cook the steak, and they put like a
Do they-
dressing on it. It's rather peculiar.
Oh man, I only got the soup. I didn't get the steak. Now
Oh.
I'm regretting it.
Would you like one of Kobold Jones's steaks? I could figure that out.
You can have my
he's
raw
not gonna
steak.
eat all 3. There's no way. So yeah, I'll take one.
Okay.
I'm
yeah.
a growing boy, but you can have my raw steak if you want.
Didn't you tell me you were a man before? I feel like you're playing the odds here, Mr. Jones.
I am whatever I say I am.
Fair enough. As your number one, I of course fully endorse this behavior.
Bartholomew,
Yes, Miss Velthil.
why are you staffing here in the
Oh.
dining hall?
Apparently my room was intended to be used for the newest member of the waitstaff, to which the head butler arrived, rather annoyed that I had shown up late for work, and I didn't quite get a word in edgewise, and I figured, well, I mean, I might as well do something with my time. So I've been serving most of the afternoon. Much better than my time previously at a customer service position, so quite splendid,
Can I
really.
ask how much the pay is this time?
Oh, I haven't been paid at all. Apparently, room and board is part of the job. Very nice room.
Should have probably negotiated better, because you're one of us. I think you get the room for free.
Oh.
Yeah.
You should probably negotiate your pay rate a little better here.
Probably should, but I think the last time I did that, though, Mr. Jones yelled at me quite feverishly. So I am just going to wait until the time is right, and I will write a formal letter as to why I believe I deserve a raise.
Yeah,
You
but
think that us putting in a good word for you, saying how great you're doing and how like really good customer service, you
Mi-
could get a better
Miss
pay rate?
Celeste, you are aware that you all are the ones who pay me, yes?
Yeah, but I mean like
So just
I
write the
could put in a good
letter
word
and
for
then
you,
hand
for
it
me.
to... Yeah, hand it to Miss Lightning. She's good at reading.
hey, buddy,
All right,
Yes.
yeah.
you made one fatal flaw here, one
Oh.
mistake. Before we were talking about my money.
Mhm, mhm.
Now we're talking about somebody else's money. So it's
Right.
okay if you get paid by them, just not from me.
Right. I'm sure the economics of that transaction make perfect sense to you, sir, and I will relent to your academic expertise.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Oh, Dad, speaking of academic expertise,
Oh, yes, hi.
first, can I just have you like quit this whole servant thing? This is really awkward.
Oh, yeah, fuck this. And he drops the serving tray just like right on the ground very loudly, and they go, "What the heck was that?" And like the butler like comes running, like peeks his head out and goes, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, I fucking quit." He goes, "You can't quit. I'll kick you out of the house." He goes, "Oh no, I work for these people." He goes, there's like a pause, and like there's like
Sir.
like floating
Correct.
dot.
He does.
You work for the Seekers of Galanti this whole time? Yes, I'm the formal translator, diplomat, and also I carry their things. Mostly the replacement packs and tools. So yeah, I'm pretty
And
important.
friend. And
Oh yes, I'm also their friend, and I am this one, Kobold Jones's absolute favoriteest person in the whole wide world. So
you're really pushing it here.
really, I feel like I'm technically your superior in a way, but I didn't want to steal your thunder, sir.
Oftentimes, he's also a moral compass. Don't forget that one.
Oh yes, it spins a lot, but I have directed them sussly. And you see like the butler kind of like just like whitewashed, like blue screen 404 error, like has been bossing this elf around all day long, and goes, "Right then, I will have your food brought out very quickly," and heads back into the thing, goes, and then like pops back out for a second, goes, Mr. Iridan, you need to return that suit if you would be so kind. And then like goes back in the kitchen, and Bartholomew looks at you guys and goes, "Well, it barely fit anyway. To be honest, the gloves are rather small, a bit gaudy." Anyway,
Give you this, Bartholomew. You are exceptional at finding work. You just fall into it wherever you go.
oh, more or less. I feel that if you just kind of nod your head and go along with the flow, as they say, then the river will take you where you need to go. It's kind of like my hometown. If you fell in the river, you just kind of carried yourself until you entered into Ilzer, and then you usually got fished out by a Lamia. Yeah, it was quite a remarkable thing, actually.
Yeah, that would have been much more pleasant.
You know, now that you say it out loud, yes, probably.
Have a seat.
Oh, thank you. And he like
And some food.
he does
and
the-
some drink.
he does the like again dad on vacation thing where like you guys are already sitting at all the seats, and then he like goes to another table and like screeches the ground and like sits it and like excuse me, sorry, and like kind of like slides it in and then like sits down. Goes, "Great, so what are we having for dinner?" "I haven't eaten all day, I'm famished."
They have a mushroom soup and a steak.
"Oh, right." And he turns and looks to Kobold Jones. "Hello, bestest friend, can I have one of your many steaks?"
I don't know.
"Oh, please, I'm very hungry."
Yeah, well, so am I.
"That is fair. You are a growing boy, as you said."
All right, here. I'll give you some of my appetizer, but don't get greedy.
"I won't." And you hear Bartholomew call and go, "Garçon, we would like the appetizer that was not offered." And you see the butler peek his head back out and like this like angry stare into like eating crow. He goes, "We'll have that right out for you, sir." And then goes back in, In like a split second, you see the butler come back out, poise maintained, sets down fresh baked breadsticks onto the table, passes out a number of bowls. Goes, would anyone like the house salad? It is with a lovely vinaigrette. He starts like he does the Olive Garden thing. He's like chopping it up in front of you guys.
Yes, I'll have.
Do you have gravy with the salad?
No, we have a nice vinaigrette, sir.
No, I don't want it then.
Well, one less salad. He like takes up the bowls for the people who don't want a salad. For anyone that does, he chops it up. He hands it out and serves it to folks. Bartholomew takes it and is like, "Oh, I shredded this lettuce today, so very nice.
And it looks wonderful.
Thank you so much. Did a great job." He like you see Buddy like shit-eating grin, just woofing the salad down. The butler turns and leaves. You see Bartholomew look you all over and goes, "So, how's everyone's day been?" He's like continuously eating while he's talking, as if he's never going to get fed again.
Is he?
He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, beer, that's good." He takes a sip out of whichever wine is just closest to him. He goes, "Ah, delightful. Did you meet that gentleman that had called for you?"
Yes. A few of us were able to put in time to see what he wanted.
Oh, good. I had to dust him off earlier, so really nice fellow.
Yeah. He actually was. Actually, now that I think about it, really quite pleasant. A little too forward, a little too close. I preferred a little more distance in a conversation, but you know.
Oh, well,
He was kind of scary.
it happens.
You all seemed a little. Was everyone not okay with him?
Scary and
I
dusty.
think he was just scary. Well, he worked for Mr. Montserrat.
Works
So-
with.
Yes, works with. That's right, with.
With, not for.
From my understanding,
Yeah.
2 members of a
Oh,
council of
goodness.
13.
Seems like a rather auspicious number.
What?
Hmm?
Say that again?
What were they? The 13 members of the Principality of Paduk?
Yeah.
Paduke?
Is there meaning to that, Celeste?
No idea. Above me.
I'd never heard of it before. I asked him. He just described them as a club of like-minded individuals.
That's right.
Oh, that's fun. They're like club members. Do they all
Yeah.
own property?
I think they all own probably vast sections of various realities throughout, the plains.
Like the plains of Silverhearth?
No, existence.
Oh, that's very big then.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've never heard of any of the terminology that he used. It's not of this place, and I
Right.
lightly studied on the topic.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah.
DM, I wouldn't know anything about this, right?
Probably not. Are you trained in
Didn't
history?
think so. Nope.
Nope. Then yeah, no idea.
What if somebody is trained in history?
You can attempt
Yeah.
the roll if you'd like.
I go.
Oh no, never mind.
Yeah, no.
No? Okay. Well,
It's a total of 7.
yeah, that's a roll you made with your dice.
Mhm.
Not something they taught
Yeah.
in school.
He had an offer, a partnership of sorts with a rather extensive contractual agreement.
Yep.
It's one of the things we need to discuss. And that's why we left him waiting even a little bit longer, because
We
He's
still
a very
waiting?
patient man. Oh yes, yes. Wait,
Oh.
I'm not sure actually.
The fella had he said that their next appointment was in a few years.
Oh, that's good.
Kindly went back to waiting in the the waiting room, gathering room, kind of getting occupied by him. Offered him a room, but he wanted to ensure that no other callers could cut in line to propose anything to us like this.
We seem to be in high demand.
Yeah, that's a few of the things we have to discuss and decide how we want to respond to a few of the scrolls that we received.
Y'all are being a little odd about this fellow. Is there something strange about him? Is he a gnome or something?
He's a skelly fella.
Well, he's not quite a skeleton. I think he is very much so what Montserrat is.
Yeah.
He's a radio host?
A very powerful undead individual.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's fair.
Oh,
And I can't imagine he would also be a radio host. I thought Montserrat didn't want any competition, so.
Oh, I think this fellow is more like a chaplain. He's a figurehead of an order of Velsharoon. Another thing I've never heard of.
Oh.
But he talked about it very religiously.
What's a religion?
A church that he worships.
Yeah, he's like the Pope.
The what now?
Should hope it. Yeah,
The
he
Pope?
would be.
The spooky Pope.
He's a spooky
That's a-
pope. I once knew a
It's an
spooky
interesting
pope.
way to put it.
You knew a spooky Pope?
Yes.
Was it that guy?
No. Was an elven individual out on the roads. He used to wear face paint and would sing songs in clerical garments.
That is pretty spooky.
He's like a pope of rock.
Oh.
Yes.
The Pope of Dope, if you will.
No. That was a different guy. He was a gnomish individual and sold things under the... You mean to mean cool. Yes, of course. The Pope of Dope it is then. Yes, of course.
But yeah, he's seems to be an equal in standing with Montserrat, and Montserrat was so pleased with us that this contract was offered, in which a lot of benefits, a few negatives.
I mean, I feel
Some-
like selling your soul might be a that's a pretty big negative.
Sorry.
Yeah.
What? We have to what?
Well, part of it would be trading your immortal soul for.
Okay.
It's
Well,
also to worship Montserrat as your group's patron. I didn't like the terminology of worship, but I mean, the
I don't like
signing
that.
bonus is probably going to be fantastic, and we do get to keep our free will.
the whole soul thing,
well, free will's a good one.
Yeah, I know. I was actually really surprised that was included.
we're not concerned about the soul thing. Wait.
Oh, very
I thought-
concerned about that, but
Yeah.
I'm trying not to think about this too much because I am at like here after today.
What is that? What is that?
I don't know how I'm still sitting here right now, honestly, and I really.
Right. So we're gonna need another ale down here.
All right.
That's pretty high. That's like twice my height.
Bartholomew reaches up and goes, Garçon, we need another ale, please. Thank you. You see the butler peek his head back out and goes, of course, sir. Right away. And comes back, like, a moment passes, and then, like, comes back and, like, sets it down in front of Bartholomew, and he goes, thank you. And he slides it in front of Velithil.
Thank you.
Okay, but hypothetically, if we decide
Hypothetically.
we decide to not with Montserrat, still gonna keep the jackets, right?
I don't know. We have to discuss whether or not a licensing and representative agreement could be made outside of this. I don't know if his sponsorship is required for this whole marketing agreement that he seems to have sent our way. I haven't actually read. One of the things I didn't get to yet was the there was a pre-promotional kit that I didn't look through yet.
Yeah.
Personally, I'd like to stay as a free agent. I think that's going to be a wise choice here with such high demand.
We're not free agents who work for Lady Galante.
You work for Lady Galante.
And you need to have a contract negotiation with her.
Wait, what?
You don't remember her saying that?
Yeah, but I thought it was a joke.
I want to. Oh no, I won't be able to be there. I think she would want to have it in private. I just want to watch it, though. It's going to be glorious. Anyways, yeah, that's something you're going to have to do if you're hoping to continue to work for her. And if you're not, then yeah, I guess you will be a free agent, and we'll probably go our separate ways. I hope that you don't choose that path.
Wow.
The two of you have been rather nice, but this is the life we lead, and we do represent certain individuals.
I see how it is. Not willing to hire me. I'm not good enough talent for Team Seekers.
We're literally talking about you being hired. We already hired you, but now, lady, you know what? I'm gonna let it all happen. You're just messing with me now.
Mr. Jones, are you drunk?
No.
You smell of whiskey.
You smell of salad.
You're right, I do. My hands, I made the salad myself. He puts one of his hands like right in your face, like up on your nose. Smell, look. It smells like lettuce.
Yeah, it does, but
No,
there's
for real,
no
smell it. And
gravy,
he
so
continues to rub it on the front of your nose, like, smell my hands.
I just like no movement or like phasing of emotions through Coble Jones. Like, yeah, I smell your hands, but there's no gravy. So how is that a salad?
Well, not all salads have gravy, my friend.
That's a fucking lie.
Wait, literally eating one that does not have gravy. Right in front of you.
That's just lettuce.
Oh, I'm sorry. You want to do your own research on the subject. No worries. I'll let you do that. He goes back to eating his salad.
Alright. Yes, that's the biggest hurdle in front of us, is deciding how we want to handle
Okay.
Mr. I don't honestly know, Gil Nova's proposal. Was willing to wait. If anyone has any questions, they want to directly speak with them. They're waiting in the waiting room.
There are other options besides Montserrat. Maybe we'll leave him to the end, just because there's a lot to unpack there, apparently.
Well, the other ones aren't so much options. They weren't really proposing for us to come work for them. The Prince Regent, I believe, of Silverhearth sent great gratitude. In fact, the diamonds that I gave out were a gift from him. We were invited to a ball that we missed in our honor. That was a bit unfortunate. And still waiting for the rest of you. There are scripts of kind of official recognition and citizenship if it's so desired. So, be a big deal in Silverhearth if you want to carry that around with you. Nice. But yeah. From the way the lady described it, it was kind of more of a also requesting of us to acknowledge and support his position as Prince Regent and future king. And on the opposite end of that, we got the different request from the Ram, in the Black Ram of the Steam Fields. Stops and takes a drink of ale.
I think you had said that he would like to meet with us.
He would like to meet with us, and he provided a set of runes, some sort of sequence of clues to reach him. He also provided those onyx gems that I handed out, and I really want to let all of you know that those... I have no idea what they're valued yet. They're literally concentrated arcana from beyond the veil of reality. I'm hoping that I can discover a value if I can head out to a couple of the shops maybe tomorrow, see what people would be interested in. But yeah, those are really nice. But in that same vein, as the lady said, he seemed to be vying for our support of his actions, which I do believe that would be in direct contrast to the princess' interests, most likely.
The prince is aligned with Montserrat.
The prince made an arrangement with Montserrat, obviously, and seems to no longer have a quarrel with him, so that's good.
So if we go with the ram, we're directly going against Montserrat and the prince in the long run, right?
I don't think Montserrat personally would care, but the prince probably would.
It's kind of like a I don't know what the prince's views are on folk that aren't humans. But it started as like the Black Ram wants to reclaim the area for the other types. Essentially, I think it's a very convoluted thing. I'm sure there's other stuff going on. We haven't been able to actually have a genuine conversation with him.
We had one conversation with him. Didn't go well.
No.
And those are reasons why we were so opposed to him. Things that happened that night until meeting with you and at the tower, where a bit of insight and perspective was given to us to stop that crusade. But he, in his letter, he did mention wanting to meet to discuss the possibilities of beginning anew as more of allies than what we saw ourselves in the past. So if we were interested in some sort of rebellion against Silverhearth, that would be fun.
Okay, and what else?
What else? There was...
I got a mail letter from Calliope. Orville and Morgan might be interested in that, and JJ's just gonna put it on the table.
Oh, bless her heart.
I also received something from Calliope. I left it in my room.
Oh, what a sweet little girl. What'd she send y'all?
She sent me a box full of 3 rat skulls.
Well, that's a little cryptic, ain't it? I mean, I know you deal in dead things and all that, but that's a little girl.
You know what she said, though?
What did she say?
Were the creatures that she has fell in her beginning and adventures in Orin.
Well, shoot,
Very
look
impressive.
at her.
Mm-hmm.
She's doing great. I'm really proud of her.
Yeah, she's doing good.
And JJ, what'd she send you?
Just a letter letting me know what all she's been up to, essentially. How she's on her way.
Oh, well, if either you write her back, wish her best from myself.
Yeah, I gotta send it out to her. I also gotta send it out to Fortune, because he sent me a postcard.
He ain't killed himself yet?
No, and he would also like to be here for when we have a service. He would really like to be there. And then he was gonna say something else, but you know how the brain noggin taps work. They don't have too much juice.
There were 2 other letters for our group. The first was from the Don and his logging company, which, as you may have noticed, there was a lot of product sent from them. We haven't finished putting together all of those. I'm kind of curious what the promotion they play is, but It's one that I'm very interested in responding to, as he was offering us a business deal to act as sort of promotional figureheads for his dogging company. It could be a rather lucrative thing for us.
You mentioned jackets?
I'm sure the Dawn could get us jackets.
Okay.
And then the last missive.
Yeah. Anybody? She's Val. Are you there?
we haven't talked about this too much, but there was a individual we met who was willing to discuss trade arrangements to provide armaments if we're interested, and I'm sure that he has a rather impressive array of very, very dangerous things. But
Is that a euphemism?
no.
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 It might be.
If any of you are interested in looking into that, we can discuss it further, and I won't stop you from meeting with him, but personally it's something that I would rather avoid. I'm not exactly happy with how I handled all of that. Drink.
Rank again. At this point, your guys' food comes out. It's all served at the same time. 4 steaks are put in front of Kobold Jones. All the, like...
I said I wanted this as an appetizer.
Bartholomew looks to you and goes, "You told me about that, Mr. Jones, and then you told me to sit down and stop working for these people."
That's fucked up, buddy.
Was I supposed to go back in the kitchen, sir?
No, it was just supposed to happen.
Oh, right. With magic and such.
I mean, everyone else here has magic.
I don't have magic.
Yeah, but like everyone else.
Well, I'm not everyone else. I'm your number one.
That's fair.
Thank you.
How much longer do you think that's gonna go on for?
What?
Forever.
Forever.
No, technically, I will
Look
say,
forward to.
Miss Celeste, it won't be forever. Sooner or later, Kobold Jones will have to do the mortal thing. So maybe like 10, 20 years at most.
Mortal thing?
You know,
But I die.
you have to go put him under the outhouse.
He's not gonna grow to be some dust bag.
So did you not know that you die?
Obviously, I know that everybody dies. I just don't know
Not
why we're
everybody.
talking.
Mm.
Okay, Bill.
There was once a bird fellow who told me that
Do what?
everyone dies.
I mean, I'll just have you know that I am twice as old as my father was.
Oh. Well, then you're overdue, Mr. Jones.
That's what I'm saying.
You gotta protect what you have left.
Nah.
Oh, okay.
Now, Kobold, when you say was,
Can I have one of those steaks?
I'm curious, what happened to him?
I'm just gonna grab it.
He was he jumped into a ravine. He thought he saw gold. Actually, my grandfather died that way too. And then so did his father. And then I think also his father.
Your family are prospectors?
Yeah, I met all of them. By the way, all the way down that line, I knew all those guys.
Wait, you knew of them?
No, like I knew them.
Oh. Splendid.
Yeah, kobolds have a gestation period of like 3 months.
Oh. So you'll from a long line of heroes.
I don't know if I would call those guys heroes.
Right. So what if perchance we found ourselves at a rocky outcropping, and I don't know, just gonna throw it out there, maybe Miss Morgan throws a single gold coin, I know it's completely out of character for her, off the side of the ravine. Hypothetically.
Let's just hope that doesn't happen.
Pathetically.
Yeah. That disease runs in my family, so I'm predisposed to it.
Oh, you're diseased? What have you got?
Mentally.
Oh, it's a mental illness. No, I can see that.
Yeah, but my mental illness is just about the gold thing, okay?
Oh,
just about ravines.
Of course.
Not about anything else.
I wouldn't suggest
stuff
anything.
Or anything like that.
No, of course not. You're completely well adjusted.
No psychopathy.
No.
None of that.
You've definitely never walked off on your own into a murderous forest before.
I definitely haven't. I definitely never murdered anything in that forest.
Good. It's a great steak, by the way. He just keeps eating it.
Oh.
What the hell? Is that my rare steak?
I told you I was taking it, but you were talking to Miss Celeste, so I believe the term from Mr. Orville is you snooze, you lose.
He's
Wait,
right.
let me have a bite of it.
No, fuck off. This is my steak.
3 other steaks.
I'm gonna go ahead and bite the other side of the steak.
You like bite the other side of it, and you see Bartholomew look down at you and lift his knife up, and then just cut off the edge where you're chewing on. So you like kind of like pull back with it. He goes, Mr. Jones, your table manners are impressively terrible.
Thanks, number one. As I'm like chewing this huge piece of steak that I bit off.
You're welcome. He keeps cutting it and eating it. This is great steak. Tremendous steak. Not had steak in years.
Yeah, and then Global Jones will just wolf down all of his food.
Yeah. You guys all eat.
Impressively packs it away.
Yeah. Between the drinks and the food, everyone who partakes will gain a benefit of 9 temporary hit points until your next long rest.
Y'all, I also got a letter from my mom, and then consequently gave her a little sending. She would like all of us to come to dinner soon, so
we're
if
doing double
anyone's
dinner.
free. Well, not tonight. Maybe tomorrow or the next day, whatever everyone is wanting to do.
Miss Lightning,
Yeah.
I don't mean to be rude, but your mother is like you?
Yes.
Okay. So she's also
Nice? Is that what you mean, buddy? Like nice?
I mean like of the what are they the with the horns?
Shifter?
Yes, that way.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wonderful.
Yeah. So yeah.
How else do shifters happen?
Well, I feel like we've seen another type of shifter that exists recently, and she was very with the murder.
When you look back over, I'm gonna be Goblin Jones.
There's a moment where he goes, "Isn't that right, Mister? Have you switched places?"
They did.
Well, fine then.
Yep.
I was going to high five my dear friend Mr. Jones, but I guess I will just save these crisp high fives for myself.
Give me.
All right, that's definitely Orville then.
Wait, no, and I'll switch back.
Oh, apparently that works on both of them. That's not going to work in the future then.
It's a good thing you have 2 hands.
I do. I sure do for my
you should
best
try-
little guy, or best big guys. And he high fives
try-
both of you simultaneously.
Oh,
But
I
the
was
next
just getting
time, just
excited.
throw-
I'm not moving from my seat. This food's too good.
Just throw that gold coin across the room and we'll find out soon enough.
Which one's the kobold?
That won't work either.
It
Yeah.
only works on
That
ravine.
just said Morgan across the room.
I was going to
Probably
say, you'll also
work on
have
that.
Morgan beat either of them over there.
I don't think
I
the
don't
coin
know.
will
I'm
hit the
pretty
ground.
quick.
Well,
I have
I'm
longer
really slow.
legs.
These legs.
I'm really slow, but I'm tenacious.
Mhm. Well, it sounds as if there's a number of decisions to be made. What is it that we are going to do if I'm not going to be working here at the estate?
Well, my hope was to take at least a little bit of time to handle these affairs, as well as give everyone the opportunity to do whatever you might want to do in the city, go shopping, get a little bit of rest and relaxation, aside from dinner with JJ's family. I would enjoy having the time to go. Well, I wouldn't enjoy it, actually. I would like to have the time to go up to Grim Village and inform the warden there of Colt.
That's a good idea. Do you think I should maybe schedule in a sending to the other lady? The lady he was supposed to return to. I'm blanking on her name. I feel so bad. The one with all the kobolds.
Yeah, Helsa.
Yes, Helsa.
Did that without looking at my notes. She certainly did express interest in him. I suppose so. Yeah, it's only proper to inform her.
I'm not sure how the warden felt about Colt, but I think we all know how Colt felt about the warden and maybe just green women in general. I don't know if we want to invite both of them to a service or not, but
I don't. I don't know if that would be
yeah.
in poor taste.
We could always go for poorer taste, go to the Tilted Hand Axe, bring a few more green women.
What are we planning on
Cole
doing
might
with all
like
of them?
that.
Probably have a pretty good night, honestly.
Oh.
Listen, I haven't even really processed what we intend to do for Colt's wake funeral.
Same.
We don't have anything to place of what. JJ, you had it on you. What is left of his belongings?
I have. Well, I think you were carrying his gun because I'm a weak individual. Let me see what else I had. A lot of it, sadly, kind of fluttered off with the thing that happened with my bag. So unfortunately, I don't have that. He really only had like his dip and the cards, his deck, and the gun and the ammo. He didn't carry a lot. He also loved horses. He did love horses.
That he did.
Horses and green women.
And guns.
I guess that's a question on the table now that we can process it. What do we want to do with his firearm?
Well, that thing kicks like a horse. So
It is heavy as all get out, and likely very illegal everywhere. I don't know the deal he made to procure it, but it seemed very shady.
he did it with that Durgar feather on the gems.
Yeah,
right?
we could. No, the static.
Oh yeah, that's right. The static.
Mm-hmm. You've not met anyone from the gems.
That's right. The gems were the ones that got stuck up in that city.
We could try and speak with him, see what we could get. some information of whatever it was. I know we traded some of the items we had for it. I just don't know what the deal was. It seemed like a private thing.
Yeah, it did.
I don't mean any disrespect, because obviously I didn't know your friend, but maybe you should bury his weapon.
You know,
We
that might
could.
be a great idea, honestly. He'd love that thing.
And I mean, I don't know who these green men are, but maybe just notifying them that you're planning on holding a service just to say your goodbyes, and then if they want to come, they can come, and if they don't, then you said your piece. But maybe just burying it and having a moment. I don't know. It just.
I think you're right. You know,
I was hoping to speak to the warden and check in on Grim Village after all that we'd left it with.
Yeah.
So I would inform her in person. Just because I feel, honestly, personally, myself, I feel like I owe a little bit of that village for what we brought there without knowing.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
It was certainly something. And then we also left it with hopefully something that didn't turn worse.
We brought the problem away, so.
Mm-hmm.
What problem?
We were transporting a rather dangerous item that was attracting. You know all the bullshit that goes on with my arm? Well, my not arm?
Oh, I don't. I know about one bullshit, which was a clown. There's more?
Well, you've seen me summon arms out of it, too.
That's never happened, Vel. All I've seen is a clown appeared, said it was his arm. You said, no, it's my arm now. And then we fought the clown.
You saw me summon the clown. Oh, you do. So you've only seen me summon the clown's arm, because it did choke me when I brought it out, and that was you were there.
No, I'm pretty sure we've seen a couple of different things, but I just thought it was, your normal magic bullshit.
No, so this is actually a thing that was left behind by a creature that we slew in Grim Village. We were transporting an item that these individuals wanted, and they were chasing us because of that.
What was it?
It was a founding stone.
Yeah, those things are bullshit.
Even if they're bullshit, they're dangerous bullshit.
I feel like if you're not constantly handling things that are, in your words, dangerous bullshit, then you're not really doing the whole Weaver's Chosen thing, you know? I feel like that's kind of what's minted on the tin on that one.
That's actually very poignant. That's why I'm not doing Weaver's bullshit anymore.
I feel like you're Weaver's bullshit adjacent, Mr. Jones.
How in the job description at the bottom in little tiny font it says other things?
Other? Yeah, I think that's a smart thing to put on contracts, yeah.
So, I feel like that's the bullshit.
Oh, yes.
Other things that they don't tell you about.
Well, of course there's always going to be things they don't tell you about, but there's also a number of things that you're rewarded without being mentioned of.
Listen, I'm okay with whatever it takes, but I was really just wondering, we're going to have dinner with JJ's family tomorrow night. Vel has some shopping she would like to get done, and then we still have to go see this warden person. Are you planning on holding your memorial service? Is that what we're calling it?
We have to organize that with Lady Galanti.
I think the plan was to at least be here a few days to get all sorts of affairs in order and catch up and kind of discuss what all we've got going on, because got some big decisions. And then apparently Lady Gulanti has a certain job that we are wanted on as well, but we also get to pick, and there's all sorts of things we gotta figure out.
He has awarded us time to rest, and she did not specify how much that is, which I appreciate very much so. But still, if where we've chosen, we shouldn't idle for too long. We need to handle our affairs, get everything in order, figure out where we can continue next.
So I realize that we don't necessarily have to have a decision right this minute. I think I just need to say this before anybody continues on, just in case I need to go my own way. No intentions of selling my soul, so...
Oh, I have no intention of doing that either, but I will seriously consider every offer that comes to the table, because that's what you do. Honestly, I could read through the entire offer, well, not read through, you didn't give me a written copy, but I have a good memory of it, if you're curious of exactly how it was worded. Or we can not worry about that and just get to the part where we all say we're not interested because of the soul part, and then we discuss how we figure out we want to respond to this without hopefully coming off as too offensive, because I would like to end this without making ourselves enemies of Montserrat. He has been singing our praises across the entire land for days and days and days now, and I don't need the tide to turn where he starts cursing our name.
I mean, I like Montserrat well enough. I don't think he has ill intentions or is a bad guy by any means. I think you get it. I just want to sell my soul, but I really want my jacket. I don't know if you guys saw your jackets, but mine is really cool, and I have no intentions of giving it up, unless, of course, they want it back, because I didn't sell my soul.
The thing, if we turn it down, we have to discuss with Gilnova whether or not a marketing contract would still be on the table to be ancillaries representatives to have theme jackets. I'm not sure what all they'd be interested in outside of the deal they've proposed.
Maybe we should get our own legal representative as well to just, I'm sure Lady Gulanti has access to him.
Hey, buddy, aren't you a lawyer?
I'm a diplomat, and yes, I am trained in elven law.
Great. That's something.
Welcome.
More than nothing.
I've broken a number of contracts, both material and demonic in my time. Well, devil, mostly, but I do speak abyssal, if the need be.
Yes, I think when we're ready to go and negotiate it, if we are trying to negotiate some sort of I don't even know what to call it, because I know that they want... If we would view Montserrat as our patron, it seems as we'd be in the full employ of them and this council and whatnot, but still retaining our free will. It's strange.
Well,
but our interests would then have to align and be in the service of Montserrat.
It does seem, however, perhaps if that is the case, then you ought to turn him down soon, or accept soon. The benefit that it could provide could rather inform your decisions, or the detriment that it would cascade into might also inform what needs to come next.
Oh no, I was planning on handling it soon. It's just why we need to have the whole group here to discuss it.
Does anybody want to sign Montserrat or go with Montserrat's agreement at this point, knowing what we know?
I think I need to talk to Vassar about where my soul lays with him while I'm collecting his souls.
Where's Basler?
Vassar's hanging about. Yeah.
That's a worrisome statement.
Mhm.
I can figure that out. JJ's gonna do the little brain tingles for Vassar.
So the scene drifts away in a peel. JJ, you start feeling this bond, this connection, this soul mending between you and this demonic counterpart of yours. You hear this kind of like grunting sound, and the kind of like you feel your skin grow a bit cold, as if you can feel something dancing across it. You have a feeling or vision of aggression, of high intensity and energy. And you definitely have like as you feel this connection deepen, your heart rate begins to elevate as chills run down your spine. What do you want to do? You feel that Vasler is not far off.
Okay. Is there any sort of insight check that I could make as to like maybe what I am feeling, or
Yeah, go right ahead. Do like a gut check. I guess it's not a gut check. I don't like gut checks. Just a general wellness check.
6?
I don't know, some weird shit. You get the feeling that you're likely feeling some of the things that Vasler's currently feeling. Maybe as it appears to like physicality. But you're not quite sure emotionally and kind of like physically where the kind of emotions and different types of sensations and sensory effects are coming from. You don't really have like a depth of knowledge from their origin, other than they probably are from Vasler right now.
JJ's just gonna stare into the distance for a little bit, and yeah, she'll leave it at that for now.
Okay. Not going to try to communicate or anything?
She will say, "You doing all right out there, bud?" And leave it at that.
All right. You hear back, you hear, "Yeah, I'm doing all right. Carving out a nice little piece of territory."
Where she will answer back, "Where?"
"Here, in town. Do you need me?"
Oh, I was just we got an offer from Montserrat to sell our souls to him for sponsorship. I was just wondering where my soul lays in our whole little arrangement, and how maybe you would feel about that situation.
Well, personally, I would like initial bid or offer on. Hold on a second. Shut the hell up! Get him, Charles. Get him. You hear him like yelling in the background, and he cuts back over and he goes, "Sorry. Again, middle of something over here. Yeah, I feel like I would definitely want like the first offer on the estate, if you would be so kind. Technically, you do have a lien on it. You know, you owe me some things. But I mean, really, if you want to sell it, that would just be, I'd have to take that up with whoever is the owner."
Okay, thank you.
"Yeah, you're welcome. Bite him in the ankles." Like cuts out.
Okay. All right. Well, Vasler doesn't currently own my soul, but technically I owe him 50 souls.
Still paying that cult debt off.
Yep, still paying that original cult debt off. Weaver's rest his soul. But he would like first bid. So
Right.
I'm kind of in limbo here.
Yeah, you probably should have taken out that gap insurance.
The
Oh, but when the gold's in the chasm.
Oh, right.
Wait, this is not about me.
Should say gap insurance, right?
Yeah, gap insurance. So like when you go in on a loan for something, and then it gets wrecked, then that part of the loan is like taken care of. Like, just
Oh,
pay,
I
like, a
honestly
little
thought it
more
was
on
a kobold thing from when your
Oh.
family falls into a chasm.
That's actually
No, I'll turn to Buddy. Yeah, isn't that a thing, Mr. Lawyer?
no, it actually is in some cultures, yes. A pre-negotiated deal that then is, in part, by no effort of either party, partially reneged on, could be up for different considerations. A number of people who do financing often will seek to refinance based off of current value of the item in question. You might want to, maybe I could sit in with you and the little metallic one, maybe from behind, I don't know, a stone wall or something, and we could have a talk. Like I give him, like a can with a string on it, and I'll take the other one around the wall, and we'll have a nice socially distanced communicative.
I suppose we could. Are souls in like that big a demand right now?
I mean, I loaned mine out for a while. It's really not that big of a deal, Number of folks actually in the homeland often do that. For bids of power, they will often make contractual agreements with devils or other creatures from the beyond. I do believe your satyr friend did much of the same. I do believe. I think a number of his abilities and magical prowesses were the direct result of such a partial loan on his soul. In a manner of speaking, of course. It's not terribly uncommon.
Oh. Okay. So maybe they're what if we try and renegotiate and souls are worth less? Because I did give him like 30-something ant souls.
Oh, that's pretty bad then. We could, get down an account of every soul you've given him. We could, do the, there used to be this great story of this prolific creature of death that would, weigh the weight of a person's sins against their life. And then if the scales were right, they would, let you progress onward, or they'd eat you. So I feel like that would probably be applicable here, being that Vasler does seem to ingest and digest various soul-y things. Might want to have a backup plan just in case.
Right.
It does seem amicable, though, other than his predilection for attacking defenseless kneecaps.
Oh, right, about him and attacking. He's got Charles somewhere in there procuring their own territory.
Oh, that seems awful.
You recovered? I'm impressed. That rat is impressive.
You know what? If he takes care of it, fine.
But yeah, so we want to turn down Montserrat's offer, correct?
Yes.
Do we want to make a counteroffer of some sort where we would still be willing to state our support of his activities in the hopes that we could continue a more positive working relationship with him, or?
I think a counteroffer would be interesting, especially. I mean, it was kind of a wild time in the other plane, but if we had to do work other places for him here and there, and we got to explore and see, and gives us more options, but also maybe we just let him know that the soul thing is a little intense.
Gladly still take work from him, but we can't take work as direct patrons under him. Not patrons. He would be our patron.
Yeah.
The word escapes me.
I mean, I personally don't like the guy.
Why?
I don't know. I just don't trust him.
What's untrustworthy about him?
His face.
He doesn't have one of those. They don't have
I mean,
one of those.
sort of. He has like a frontal identifier, right? Isn't that like a face, like in his head area?
Maybe.
Mr. Jones, I mean, it's not like a criticism of you or anything, but it feels like maybe you just don't trust anybody. That's kind of like the vibe that I'm getting.
You are a bit of a loner, Mr. Jones.
Except Celeste. You only trust Celeste. Maybe.
But
But-
Claudius
is
is number one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's been around Celeste for
Yeah,
weavers know
actually,
how long.
Buddy, no offense, I don't trust you either.
Oh, that's fine. I honestly don't trust you as far as I can throw you, which is to say not at all.
I could throw you pretty far, I think.
Well, I don't think I could throw
wanna
you,
try?
though. No, that mean...
Okay.
No, we're good.
All right, suit yourself.
I
I think
honestly
the-
think that you
I
probably
actually-
could throw him, buddy.
no, he's
I
very
trust
heavy.
I trust myself. Does that count?
It
Sure.
counts.
Actually, hang on. No, I don't trust myself either.
Okay, so I feel like at this point we can come to the consensus that Mr. Jones's opinion on diplomatic matters should be taken into maybe less of a consideration moving forward.
Put that in
I
the
don't think so
Basta
at all.
column.
I think if anything, I should be more taken into consideration.
Right.
But
A
you
little
don't even
bit of
trust
paranoia.
yourself.
A
Right.
little bit of paranoia is
That's
always
not.
good.
But like, just because you are little doesn't mean the amount of paranoia is little, Mr. Jones. It's a lot of paranoia, like a lot. Like a
Yeah.
handsome sum of
Yeah,
paranoia.
well-
Okay.
You know, tomato.
No, those are both the same thing. We're talking about two different things.
Right.
I don't think so.
Mm. So, we have our intention for what we want to propose to Gil Nova about this matter. Will everyone be okay with likely our now good names being run through some dirt if it's completely turned down?
I'm sure we could do some course correcting somewhere. Like with the prince or something. I don't know. But then again, then we would be choosing sides in that. And this whole thing's so complicated.
Personally, I respect some of the things that the Ram is trying to do for certain individuals, but I despise him as an individual. So yes, I would rather speak our support to the Prince's legitimacy in Silverhearth. But that's just me.
Can I ask a question that maybe I just missed?
Hmm?
Yeah, so why did the Rams send stuff?
Because we stopped. Because we made peace. Because we didn't proceed further in being a thorn in his side.
We didn't go after him in blind rage, essentially.
Okay.
I don't feel like that makes us an ally.
No, we're not allies with him, but he wrote a script willing to discuss a new alliance, and I have no doubt that solely based upon the reputation that we've been gaining, that is why he reached out to us.
I don't know. I don't trust him.
No, neither do I, which is why I don't intend to meet with him, and why I don't want to write our support of him. As stated, I do not like him.
Speaking, if I might, diplomatically on the matter, the admission, or rather declination of conflict is not often what will make a political leader move towards a peace treaty. Typically, there is more to it than that in my experience. I can't imagine that an individual who is both possessed of great power, resources, capability, and armed standing forces was terribly afraid of Weaver's Chosen. Not that you aren't mighty, but in my long history, I've never heard of such a small faction having such a great impact on the, well, overall mood and mindset of a ruling power.
Oh, buddy, just so I get this clear for us
Mhm.
diplomatic people. Basically, you're saying just because they stood aside didn't mean that that's why I got really cute onyx stones.
More than likely, there was something else you maybe did without realizing it, perhaps? That might have
Glad.
sparked such change.
Hang on.
Okay.
Not so too, buddy, but I just wasn't.
Oh, yeah. No.
Would have been, though.
I don't know. I joined the group well after their encounter with this individual, so I've only kind of heard his name in hushed whispers and recently. Yeah.
Right. Sorry, buddy.
No, that's all right. I wish I knew.
Me too. Well, I guess the question comes back to you guys then. When did the package arrive? Because that will determine roughly.
I don't think we know when any of the packages arrived. They've been waiting for us.
Somebody has to know, right? I mean,
It might be in the records.
and if we could find out when the package arrived, we'll know roughly what you guys did before the package arrived to determine what happened.
It still would have arrived after all of our interactions with him.
But it would have been before you met Buddy.
Maybe.
At least as long as I have been here, I can't think of anything other than the request for a bit of a ceasefire that you had done at the behest of your gnomish council. I don't think you've done anything else past that I can recall or recollect that would have an impact. So
Yes, and the package would have arrived after that, most likely, so it would still be after all of our interactions with him.
Sure. Well, I mean, you know best.
Maybe the gnome guy had something to do with it. You know, I'm just saying, I'm going to put this out here.
Gnomes are.
I don't trust that guy.
You don't trust... No, never mind. I just realized how pointless it is to talk to you right now.
Okay, that was rude.
Is it?
I think that I'm having a lot in this conversation and helping us figure out the mysteries.
You are an expert of the circle, sir.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm not quite sure that this mystery is worth our time.
We can look at the records, we can see when it arrived. If anyone wants to, we can go and have a meeting with him. Maybe that will give us more insight into it. I told JJ this, but honestly, the only interest I would have in any dealings with the Ram would be if we were also working in association with the Prince to try and resolve their issues peacefully.
I'm with Val on this one.
Yeah, I'm with Val on that. You know, that might be an interesting idea. Once power transitions.
We do have the ear of the prince, don't we?
We do.
I feel like
Figuratively speaking, of course.
matters of land and oppression are not easily brought to justice.
No, but it's a start.
I wouldn't think it would be an easy topic, but I'm not really interested in fighting for either of these sides. So I'd only be willing to deal with it, per se, in a negotiating standpoint, to try and create peace. Because if no one does that, it's going to be likely some sort of war at some point between their forces.
Yeah, and if you think about what apparently the Ram has access to, pure arcana in gem form, what else can he get?
Materials to produce.
I would argue from group experience that sometimes intervening can also lead to war. And I'll look at Buddy.
That is correct. There have been a number of historical moments that the tides of battle have been dictated by the third-party forces that have chose to ally themselves with. There once was a rather astute human individual who used to question the morality and ethics of those who have power but choose not to act upon it. I believe there was a quite long accord that he had issued to a number of nobles, and it rounded, I can't quite remember the entirety of it, but it ended in this sense of, if you stand for nothing, what will you fall for? Perhaps
that sounds like some enablism.
Maybe. Perhaps it is. Humans are rather... the sky is falling inclined, to say the least. Why don't we think about this for a moment? We can let this do this. I think I should help the butler with the dishes. It seems as if you all have much to discuss.
You're part of this.
No, I know, but and he points to the window. He's been staring at me the entire time, rather upset because he's now shorthanded.
Because you're beautiful, buddy.
There's like the butler's like staring from the wait staff window, like, you motherfucker. He goes, I'm just gonna go help. Why don't we
go make peace with them?
We'll go make peace while we discuss peace later.
Go make peace.
Yeah. And in fact, why don't we all, I don't know, go take a stretch, maybe 5 minutes or so. We can come on back and get this fresh.
Hey, buddy, I'll help you with the dishes for 5 minutes.
All right, 5 minutes then. And for everyone out there watching, we'll see you guys in about 5 minutes. It's 9 o'clock now. We'll come back at 9:05 for more Second Wake, more downtime activities, more decisions, and I don't know what I'm going to name this episode yet. It's fun yet. We'll see where it goes. For everyone here with Second Wake, see you in a bit. Peace. Hello, everybody. Thank you for the wait. Just had to stretch my legs, finally get up, use the save station here at the house. So yeah, thank you guys for sticking with us. Late night, long RP session so far. Lots of things to consider, lots of decisions to make or choices to ignore. And we'll see how they go ahead and do that. Thank you for sticking with us as always after the break. If you can't make it, no worries. No one's going to be upset at you, except maybe Vasler. He thinks you're a punk bitch. But if you stuck with us after the break, you of course are a level 20 character, and we super appreciate you guys. And thank you for hanging out with us as always. Before we left for the break, the group were meeting for dinner to discuss the multitude of various packages, parcels, propositions, and posthumous decisions to make. And with that, we're coming to a number of very interesting crossroads that they face as a group at this point. At this time, you guys have helped the head butler clean up the dining hall, packed up, for the most part, everything you had at the table, and with kind of Buddy ushering a bit, closed up the dining hall, and I would assume at this point retreated to the small kind of meeting loft nearer to your bedrooms here at the estate. That way the head butler could not remain on staff for the entirety of the night. Bartholomew seems to have a soft spot for people in the service industry. Go figure. So with that, you all find yourselves in the private loft of the hallway kind of access area that interlocks this wing of the estate with the entirety of your rooms and such. Is there anything else you guys would like to discuss before heading to rest and calling it a new day? Or do. The night is still technically young. I mean, it's probably like 10, 11 o'clock. I turn it over to you, Seekers.
To say the best decisions happen after 1 a.m.
So the group waits. They press select on their controllers. And they choose to wait for 2 more hours. The world goes. It's 1 a.m. 1:01. That waits directly after 1 a.m.
Does anyone have any strong feelings or opinions about any of the requests of us in these matters, aside from Montserrat, which we've already come to a pretty good consensus on?
Since maybe it's because we experienced it and we got to learn about it firsthand. But what's going on in Ravon, the only way I'd be interested in it would be in a capacity to facilitate some sort of agreement or maybe start peace talks. But that's something that's on my radar. Kind of, sort of, but it's not the forefront. But that's my thoughts on that. I haven't lived through it.
Is that how we might want to respond to him then? Respond to his message, send one back that if he is interested in brokering peace with Silverhearth, that we would be willing to act as counsel and a arbiter between both sides, a neutral party, as it were.
I would be interested.
If we do that, though, we also would not be stating our support of the prince. Because if we state our support of the prince, we're not really a neutral party if we walk up to a negotiation with a rebel force.
I think it would be smart to let both of them know what we're thinking in that respect.
Sorry to interrupt, but could somebody elaborate as to what we're talking about?
Yes, I'm also
We are
rather
talking
confused.
about the Ram and the Prince of Silverhearth.
Who is the Ram?
The Black Ram of the Steamfields, current occupying force, I believe, likely in Wren's Fork. I actually haven't heard recent news. We've been gone for a month, but when we were passing through Wren's Fork, everything that came to be and why we were so opposed to the Ram and his forces was because we witnessed a rather hostile-looking takeover of the city and manipulation of government individuals. Was he a duke? I don't even remember now. Who had been forced his hand in some sort of manipulation to this game they play, where you can make demands of others if you win or lose. And came to blows with some of his forces on our way down from Wren's Fork. And that was how we lost Colt. And as far as my understanding is, from what we've heard from others speak, the Ram is a mixed bag. Many folks from further south view him as a revolution to retake lands that were previously stolen away by the humans years and years and years ago now. And the opposite side of that is Silverhearth itself, who currently has claim to those lands, unless, I don't know, we should try and get some news out of Wren's Fork and see what the current way is going there. It may still appear perfectly normal to the world for all we know.
Okay, so let me get this straight. We can choose to support one side or the other, right?
Or neither.
Or neither. Yeah, why don't we just do neither?
Because right now, we also have to take into account those who are championing our names. The Prince of Silverhearth, along with Montserrat, have spread a lot of goodwill about the Seekers of Galanti, and to turn our backs on him is a rather rude gesture.
I feel like we never asked for any of that, and that's out of their own pockets that they're deciding to do that. Not out of anything we asked for them.
Mr. Jones, I don't mean
What's
to inquire into your personal life. How experienced are you with the bardic arts and nobility?
I know a lot about it, in that I hate it.
Of course, yes. No, of course. I would expect nothing less from you, sir. You see, there are a number of things where I think the mindset of having a very wide and grandiose worldview have a time and place, but when you are truthfully at the mercy of powerful people, when they grant you concession, they need to be more or less immediately accepted. It's kind of like if, say perhaps, it would never happen to you, of course, because you're so strong, but say you were collapsed on the ground, choking to death. The assumption is that you would want someone to save you. Many bards seem to work and legal advisors to nobility with the assumption that people want them to dote upon them, or speak well of them. I know you don't mind what people say, of course, you wouldn't care at all, but for those who might want the favor of the land, it is a rather important aspect, especially if you are seeking to establish yourselves as something more than just in whatever this group is at this point.
Yeah, I just know that in a situation like this, you cross one bridge, you burn the other. So, you could also just not burn either bridge or cross either one.
That is true. That is true. I've heard many stories about famous heroes who have done nothing. You're right.
If we don't cross either bridge, we might also just be burning both.
Yes, exactly.
So
we could just swim.
You could fall in the river and ride it all the way down to Ilzer, and then be fished out by a Lamia.
See?
Yeah.
There's always
a
options.
Lamia.
A Lamia is a snake-like individual. They're rather beautiful in their scale patterns.
They really are.
Yeah,
majestic.
It's effectively like from about like bottom of the center mass of the chest down is like a snake-like hide that exudes from them down into a long kind of prehensile tail that they slither around on. They have a great singing voice, tremendous recipes for breakfast, and many of them are rather cold-blooded, so they are often looking for people to snuggle up to.
True.
Very friendly folk.
Wonderful. Yeah, that sounds outright terrifying.
Really not.
Across. Alright. Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
but, you're a goblin that can transform into a kobold. To many people, that's terrifying in its own right.
Do you swap from one to cold-blooded? Are kobolds cold-blooded?
Yeah, I don't truthfully know. You're some type of reptile, yes? Draconic?
Orville will shift forms into kobold form.
For the first time ever, Orville realizes he is shifting between hot and cold blood each time. And there's probably a reason why there's sounds of snapping, popping, and breaking of cartilage as his body rapidly heats and decompresses between the two shiftings. Suddenly, he learns where pain comes from.
Oof, just gonna lay down here for a second. Oh, that's, no, we're definitely cold-blooded. Oh, yep, okay. If anybody needs me, I'm here on the floor. Okay, yeah. Yeah, oof.
Need me to make the floor warm for you?
Nah, we'll be okay. Thank you, though.
Personally, I always just thought goblins ran hot.
Maybe. Like a stack of flapjacks. just warm for a bit.
But yes, personally, I'm not interested in burning every bridge we come across, every kind gesture sent our way in return for what we have done. And in the Prince's case, I understand what we have done, whereas in the Rams, I do not.
So, in the Prince's case,
he's alive because we worked for Montserrat.
Okay.
Look, I know I say I don't trust people a lot, but there's something about that prince in the situation that I definitely don't trust.
And
I mean, that was our agreement with Montserrat, though, was the prince would be returned to life.
To be honest, the Montserrat also benefited from him coming back to life in the long run.
You're turning into a robot. What did you say?
Oh. Back? Is it better now?
Yeah.
Okay. Also benefit from him coming back, so, I mean...
Yeah, he benefited from coming back? Yes.
Well, Montserrat did. Prince coming back.
That doesn't surprise me.
So, personally, I think we should hear out the Ram and potentially go that route. We're not defending Montserrat by any means.
I don't mean to cause insult here, but y'all didn't experience what we did with the Ram.
Okay. Elaborate.
We saw what he did in Rensfork and what he's done to the Baron there. We saw him and his giantkin just destroy our friend and almost kill me in the process too. It's fine. We had to bargain with him just to exist. It's not that easy. I understand that his ideals are pretty important, but that doesn't make him a good person whatsoever. And I don't know if siding with him only is the only way to go.
Is Deerwood part of Silverhearth?
No. The city of Deerwood is specifically one that is without borders or rulers. The only thing that they truly have here in Deerwood, being within the Hunter's Reach of the Northern Hallowoods, is the idea that they are run by noble families that are effectively powerful, long-named, and long-lived familial names that are effectively revered and kind of respected throughout the land. For this, both the northern continent that holds much of like the dwarven prowess within Orskath, and especially the kind of ruling king under Iskander, have a kind of a very long spoken accord with the individuals of Silverhearth and the kingdoms of Ravon, that Hunter's Reach is kind of the neutral zone. It's part of the reason why the Lady Galanti will always advise that the Seekers know best, simply because she, by her very nature, is a woman of neutrality who only seeks mutual benefit as often as possible. But she's also not a person who's too fussed if you have to break one person to climb them. She's not really... Like, her and all of the noble families here in the city are kind of that same mindset, except for the Ferosa. The Ferosa is more duty, law, and gods, and very much the cross at in the city, which is why for the most part the Ferosa is like the checks and balances between the three kind of greed-fueled families as they're viewed to many individuals outside of the city. But yeah, of the city, the three pillars are the three families. You have the Destra family, which is primarily focused with like magical effects, relics, things of that nature, uncovering arcane knowledge left behind by the Weavers. You have the Grama, which they own Gramaton, a section of the city that primarily employs all of the trade, craft goods, smitheries, material goods that have a very strong belief structure that they will find power in the items left behind to reach ascendancy for their chosen. And then, of course, you have the Lady Galanti. And the Lady Galanti is effectively the mercantile backbone of the city. She is the largest trader of goods, services, and kind of material goods. So she makes sure that the coin flows for profitability, both in the city and out of it to its neutral partnered allies. And it's part of the reason in the social economical stature that no one's ever tried to take over Hunter's Reach or encroach upon the freedoms of Deerwood and the Weaver's Chosen. Not just the idea that heroes and people who are possessed of great abundance of power with the ability to grow rapidly and gain fists of power within mere months of adventuring. It's also the kind of aspect too that everything that comes through here that is collected by these heroes of legend is then slowly funneled out of the city, unprofitable trade to the neighboring nations. As you guys are sitting there, you hear the door to the hallway kick open. You hear a stomping sound that's kind of followed by these like scratching sounds from behind it. You look and you see kind of like sitting in a dripping pile of what looks to be rainwater, a tungsten covered bear with like kind of like bright glowing eyes staring out from the hallway. Beside them is a very large rat with heavy looking pieces of bone that is now sticking out from the base of its shoulders, and a very tall, kind of like lanky individual, probably about 4.5 feet tall, covered in rags with a long snout and whiskers, and kind of just like leans their head way too far forward. You think if they probably like stood up straight, they might be about like 5.5, maybe 5'2", but they're kind of like hovering over this tungsten bear. You hear,
Good evening, D3.
"Good evening, suckers. What are you losers doing?" You're D3 walks up to this kind of like small meeting room.
Talking, considering.
Lame.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should do more productive things with your time, like taking over areas.
What'd you take over?
Yeah, the Lower East Side. Well, at least,
Really?
yeah, pretty much like all of the tunnel work, right? And it looks up, and you see this like, as you get in the light, you see this creature is very clearly a rat folk, and has like a bit of mange to them, and you hear this like hissing, like, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Mr. Vasler, sir. We works for you now. Just look, I'm moving up in the world."
I'm very proud of you.
Thanks. I'm proud of me, too. I'm pretty much the best me I can be. Had to break a few bones, but, it all worked out in the end.
Were they yours?
No.
How
Wait,
much
Oh, well,
bigger?
good job.
How much bigger is?
I think I froze. Did someone else freeze? Oop. Hello?
Everything seems frozen right
Yeah.
now.
Okay,
Yep,
cool.
everything-
Discord.
oh, there we go.
Awesome. How much bigger is what?
Charles, is he bigger? The rat?
Oh, yeah. He's like, if I had to define it, I would say he's about a size category larger. With
Charles is looking very healthy.
Oh, yeah. No. Me and Charles are like this. You know? Calling him C now.
Can he speak yet?
No. We're working on speaking soon. Yeah. Yeah, Charles Esquire and I are doing great.
I'm just impressed, honestly.
Well,
How long
as
have
you
you
should
had
be.
that rat since this morning?
Well, no. Charles went and tore through most of that church or whatever we were summoned into, which was great and awesome. And then he met up with Templeton here, and did some formal introductions. And here's where we're at.
Very
You
nice.
guys You guys think that Charles is maybe like a Weaver's Chosen or something?
Huh?
At the rapid pace that he's growing.
Oh no, that's magic. Well, Faustian bargain. But yeah, I mean, if you want to say it's no, you know what? I think Charles is as useful as any of you. You're right.
Hey, that's pretty good if I'm as useful as Charles.
I would say so. I think that's the highest praise I'll ever give you.
Thanks, bud. I'll put my hand out for a fist bump.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead and make me a strength saving throw.
Am I within 10 feet of Celeste?
Within 10 feet of Celeste? Depends. Celeste, you want to be within 10 feet of Cobalt Jones? Your previous number one? You say nope? Oh, she said nope.
All right, dirty 20 then.
Dirty 20, okay. Vasler rolled a 19. And as he fist bumps you, he full on like rocket arm, like you feel a crunch of the front of your knuckle as this like magical tungsten slams into your hand. You take 12 points of bludgeoning damage. But you didn't fail by 5 or more, so one of your fingers is not broken.
Is that magic?
It is magical. Yeah. The suit's attacks are considered magical.
Man, it's got ghost punching hands. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I'll play it off cool.
You're like,
Yeah, man. Good fist bump.
yeah. Yeah, I have the best fist bumps. You're pretty much right. Well, like you see the head kind of turn and look around. Are you losers doing anything tonight, or
I think I'm gonna just turn in and get ready for tomorrow. I've got a couple sendings to make and some errands to run.
We have to
Cool.
finish this conversation sometime.
Right. This conversation, right. Well, I'll leave you to it then. You talky types. Hey, pointy ears. You see Bartholomew like turn and look. Is that me? He goes, yep, that's you. Where's our room? What do you mean? Oh, it's my room, and it's right over there. Thanks, kid. You're I don't like doors being closed. And he kicks it open and just flies off the hinges, and then walks on in. You see the Charles kind of like hop and then scurry in after Vasler, and then you see the very clear rat folk look at you, and Templeton kind of goes,
So I'm sorry about him. You seem like nice people.
Pleasure to meet you, Templeton.
Nice to meet you. For your trouble.
and reaches down into like this kind of like holy kind of like raggedy like shawm that they're wearing, and produces a like half-eaten piece of peppermint and just kind of like sets it down. And you look and it's not like one peppermint candy, it's like several peppermints that have fused together because they probably were in water, and then that bite's been taken out of that, and like sets it down and goes,
"You have a good night. That's for you. Wait for me, Vasler."
And walks through and kind of like crawls into the now open and broken door. And you see Bartholomew look around and go, is anyone's floor open? I'm just gonna, you know what? I could just meditate right here. It's fine.
You can stay
No,
with
it's
me.
fine.
Yeah.
I'll stay here. It's fine.
Bartholomew,
You can stay in my room.
my room already doesn't have a bed. It's plenty of sitting space for meditation.
I wouldn't want to intrude with anyone. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Bartholomew,
Thank you.
You are being invited.
All right then. I will accept the invitation.
Wait a second, are you a vampire?
Am I a vampire? No.
Have to be invited to a room.
Well, it's just the polite thing to do, Mr. Jones.
Are
Man,
you a vampire, Kobold? And I'll like go for him and like try and like pull of his
snout.
snoot
I'll
floops.
I'll swat his hand away. It's none of your business.
I feel like there's definitely some vampirism that's plagued Mr. Jones.
Nuh-uh.
Right.
Just show us your teeth then.
No.
Oh, he's
Why
embarrassed.
don't you show yourself your teeth?
That was almost a good comeback, sir.
Thanks.
You're welcome. So, What do we have to? You said you wanted to decide this now, Ms. Belford?
I would like to come to a conclusion soon, but perhaps with everything discussed and known to everyone now, we should take a day or two to take care of a few of the things we want to, and then everyone can think on it in their own time of truly how you would like to proceed, and we can actually discuss it a bit more without without such snide comments. But yeah, so unless anyone has anything else to say, we might as well get some rest.
Did anyone have questions perhaps for the gentleman waiting in the entryway parlor?
We should probably ask him if any negotiations or alterations would be acceptable if we did not take the deal.
It's probably a good question to ask.
I'll go do that now. Stand up in a very almost defeated Bartholomew motion.
Oh, look, it's contagious. When you find yourself in times of trouble, Buddy Bartholomew calls to you, speaking words of wisdom. He's an elf. Okay. So you wanna head out and go and talk to Gilnova?
Yeah.
All right. So easy is as easy does. Anyone else want to go with Inquisition of Nova?
I'm good.
Celeste, Morgan, anyone?
No, thank you.
Nope. All right. Bartholomew will go with you, just because he's like, no one should go alone. And walks off to the meeting room. For the group left and remained, anything you guys want to do while waiting for Velthil?
JJ's just gonna go walk off to her room.
Okay. Heads off to the room.
JJ, before you go.
Yes, Orville.
I got this letter, and I was meaning to ask everybody about it, because I can't make sense of it. I know you kind of know birds a little bit better than most, but it's got this bird here on it. It's got a little bit of an association with this one place. Let me check my notes real quick. Cloudview Village. You know anything about that? Or maybe this bird in Orville will produce the picture of a bird that was attached with the coin.
Is there something she can roll?
Sure. You can attempt to roll religion, history, or nature.
We'll go with history.
Okie dokie.
16.
16. You don't make heads or tails of the image of a bird. It's like this black inked kind of visage that's been sent out here. You note that it's kind of like a black-billed bird that's printed on this letterhead and a very, very old-looking platinum coin. You discover much the same as Orville, just south of Orskath proper. Beyond the Orskathian Highlands, there is a small village on the coast known as Cloudview. You know it is a village to the far east that sits atop a massive hill and is nestled on the edge of the continent. Some people often say you can hear the gods from the summit of the towers of the Weavers that was built there. But that's also kind of local legend / bardic tale a bit that kind of gets whispered around about the village.
Maybe it has to do with your stick.
Maybe.
That's what I'm thinking.
I'm still trying to make sense of this bird, though.
I got no clue. Yeah, it might be best to ask someone else that maybe knows a little bit more about the old Weavers.
Perhaps.
Is that all, Mr. Judd?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Have a good night.
Thank you as well.
Can I turn around and say something to the group really quick before I walk off?
Sure.
If anyone has a curse they'd like to be rid of, just wait here for me to get back. I figured out how to do that, so just let me know if you want that. I'm gonna go talk to him. Be right back.
All right. Anyone else for stuff or things before she returns? No? Okay. So, Velithil, you make your way back to the entry parlor once again. You see a decrepit-looking, kind of faded and destroyed corpse of a creature that sits very much in a chair. Bartholomew kind of gasps and goes, I had just used a feather duster earlier, and there's already spiders that have crawled out of the front of its face and through its open eye sockets and have webbed part of its head in this kind of like faded, dirty blonde hair to the wall in like this kind of like effigy of cobwebs. You see them kind of like crawl and scurry between like the eyes and the nose and things of that sort. And this kind of like well-dressed traveling cloak and creepily kind of like stitched together body just sits there 90 degrees at a chair, both hands on its lap, as if waiting to be called upon.
Gilnova, I have a question for you.
You see the motes of fire rain in, this dark kind of hued purple energy coalesce inside of each eye socket. The spiders scurry deeper within the skull of the creature, and you slowly see it twist and turn unnervingly in your direction. Your amulet of protection continues to negate the fear effect that seems to emanate from this creature. You look over to Bartholomew. He goes, such a lovely fellow. Like, he's very well dressed. And Bartholomew seems to have no fear over this individual or creature. You see it kind of lumber and kind of like haggardly walk forward with this kind of like almost like upper shoulder lean to it. And you see this creature come forward and approach to you. And you watch as it kind of reaches out its left hand once again to your direction. You see it.
Likes to shake hands. Sure, it's the polite thing to do, so I will shake his hand.
All right. You again feel the hand pull in and go to pull you forward. Do you want to make an athletic saving throw, or do you want to just let it happen?
No, I'll just let him pull me in how he did before.
You are pulled within a hair's breadth from the face of this rotting husk of skull and bone and flesh still weaved together. And you see the jaw snap into place and twist and rattle. And you hear this like...
Well now, I found you again. Welcome back, Velithil.
Yes. We have been discussing the offer, and an inquiry had come up that I wanted to ask you.
Ah, an inquiry. Yes, quite, darling.
It's quite the offer on the table.
Yes.
We're curious if there would be any possibility of negotiations or a more marketing and mutual appreciation contract as opposed to one of patronage to Montserrat.
Well now, the terms and conditions by which you find yourself so enlightened and offered towards in that sense are not to be given easily nor lightly. Once Monty has his eyes on someone, it is the fixation of such a thing. If you wish to alter the offer on the table, I am here to lend an ear to such propositions. However, you, of course, will be compensated handsomely, should you accept our offer as it is.
Yes, I do understand that, and I greatly appreciate everything that you are offering.
Good.
But if a negotiation could be changed for one where we would be allowed to operate as allies and be called in service to Montserrat if they would so wish it, but still be at our free leisure to continue our service here and simply speak out our support of Montserrat.
I must confess it's a rather curious situation in which you find yourself. I don't understand your retraction of such obligation. The offer on the table is that you remain quite apt and able to your own devices. Merely public support, worship therein, and patronage of Monty is what's being asked. Is there a particular incident here? Because it does appear in my current estimation that you're asking for everything you're currently getting.
Okay, then that was a slight misunderstanding on my part in the terms of Montserrat as our group's worshipped patron.
Yes.
Would we still be also in service to our patron here in Lady Galante, or would we be operating out of Montserrat's tower?
You have a patron here? Is that right? You have a sponsor?
Yes.
A broker of material goods and information, surely. What is being offered to you is patronage. Truly, in that sense. The ability to commune far beyond your mortal mind can perceive, to a being much more powerful than many you have encountered, more than likely. With that, it is all rather fitting that you ally yourself with a being much more powerful that can provide things that money cannot alone afford.
Okay, well, that...
I do hope you are not so narrow-minded to believe that the Principality would offer you anything less than true unbridled power.
I suppose I'll ask solely about the biggest sticking point that's seen with the group in the offer is the immortal soul bit and giving that over.
Oh, you're using it for something already?
You know, I was going to say that as my response to, funnily enough, I just decided not to. But everyone seems a little attached, yes?
As they should be. Bear no ill will of such a thing. It is not the preference of Monty to see that you are killed before your true time is right. There'd be no point in the matter in that sense. The longevity of your union would be profitable by all involved. We don't mean to say that your soul will be taken from you, more that it is a guarantee should you attempt to oppose Monty's ambition. Non-interference is something we prize very highly. The condition on which we seek your souls is simply on that you do not end up in the service of a great demon or hell tyrant at the time of your passing, or in the service to a competitor. A guarantee that when you die we know where you go. But if that is a conditional of such a thing, merely state where you'd prefer to have your soul go to. And there are a number within the principality that could arrange such things for you. Granted, this realm doesn't truly have an afterlife, it would seem.
Out of character?
Yo.
So, like, I just want to make sure my understanding is right. Like, it would be working directly for him, but we would still be doing whatever we pleased in this realm.
Hey, it's, again, they're, from what you're understanding and like what he's trying to clarify, they're trying to make good on the gobbledygook that Celeste spit out in Montserrat's tower. Which is, she wanted it as a physical sponsor, and that's not how this lich works.
Yeah.
This lich says, oh, you want a sponsor? Cool. To powerful creatures, a sponsor is an entity, a pact, effectively what many people will call it. It is a Warlockian pact. Only, in this sense, it is meta in the presence of a group patron. Which, yes, unfortunate naming convention. But I didn't write it. Blame Wizards of the Coast. Also, blame Matt Colville, that motherfucker. But yes, that is what is being on offered, is establishing a powerful entity by which you all enter into an agreement or bargain with in exchange for power and reinforcement. And effectively more freedom in a sense. Because then you're not sworn to a single master. Which, to them, you're not even sworn to Galanti. Like, they're like, yeah, cool, you work at Burger King. I don't care, kid. Like, do you want to sign with Nike or not? Because, like,
yeah.
Like, it's, I mean, if we had to put it in, like, AEW terms, it's like, cool, Fuego, you can totally work at the car insurance company Monday through Friday, but Saturdays you're wrestling.
Yeah. Okay.
But yes, in no small sense of the word, they're trying to follow through on the deal that they made before you went to go fight Sir Francis Fowl.
Okay.
Because to them, Celeste blabbering was part of the deal. And this is them trying to make good on it now.
Okay. This is a impossible to read thing, but I'll still ask. Can I get any read of any, like, annoyance with the prospect of that, of turning down the deal?
I mean, you're trained in insight?
No.
Then probably not. I mean,
okay.
It'd be hard enough to read a powerful entity that is well trained in making deals and associations, such as him. It's kind of like even Buddy, as Buddy continues to kind of grow past all the faults and curses and flaws that he's been plagued with for the last several hundred years. This individual is already hard to read, and it doesn't help that there's literally no facial expression that they can have. The most you're going to get is a smirk, a smile, a wink, or like a portion of their skin getting stuck in a way, kind of like a stroke might happen to somebody. Like there's not really much to read on them outside of their words.
Yeah.
Hell, even Montserrat's hard to read. Just bones.
Yeah. Worth asking, just in case.
Yeah,
okay, I think I have a better understanding of what is asked of us. I will discuss this once further with the group, and we will come to our final conclusion soon. Thank you very much, Gilnova.
Of course. I, of course, would not be here if not as a favor to Monty being in the third seat. Do you understand the weight that carries?
Do I understand that saying?
You know that Gil introduced himself, which I think you have it here, which our audience didn't know. You know Gil Nova is a worshiper at the at the Church of Elthun, and is currently one of the heads of, I believe I have it here, right? Current head of the Order of Velsharoon and 4th chair in the Principality. And is effectively the official legal contact for all deals involving any member of the 13. He's stating to you that he's only here because Montserrat, is the 3rd chair.
Oh, in the negotiation between...
So it's effectively like in their hierarchy. There's
he's saying
3,
okay,
4.
okay, now I get it. Sorry, I'm like thinking it's like some. Got it. Okay,
No,
I understand now.
I think you're thinking round table, and I'm
yeah,
talking...
I thought it was like some negotiation terminology, and I was just confused.
Homer Simpson joining a group and having tears to this.
Yeah. Okay, I get it. So Monty's number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, where could Callie be? Anyways. Yes, while I have little knowledge or understanding of that group, I do understand the scope beyond my understanding that it is, and I do greatly appreciate it.
As all mortal things are too. Well then, might I continue to borrow your chair?
You may.
Thank you. I will await your response. Should you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to come and see me again.
With that, he kind of releases his like white-knuckled grip on your hand. You feel like blood pump back into your fingers, and like goes and lumbers and shambles and kind of like slowly walks over to the chair and sits down 90 degrees, hands on his lap, and you see the fire fade from his eyes. And Bartholomew looks over and goes, he's just going to sit there.
Until we give him a final answer, yes.
Oh, okay. That's good. Maybe you could light like a candle or something so it's not so like dreary. Put a coat over him or something. Anyway, sorry. Are we heading back?
Yeah, let's head back, see if anyone wants me to try and remove any curses from them. What did you... As we walk out, I'll ask him. What do you think of all that?
Of all what?
The offer, the statement, the requirements.
I think you are a Weaver's Chosen.
Now, Bartholomew,
you're-
just tell me your honest opinion of this.
Well, it is difficult for me to say. Personally, as counsel, I will state that historically, Nymerian proper nobility has often sought the assistance of otherworldly entities to build upon and gain power otherwise unobtainable within their day-to-day lives. It's not unheard of to see such. Even the denizens of Ilzer and the various Serpentine people make pacts with their ancestors and great powerful beings who have ascended or reached a ceiling of spirit that still exists within the coils of this world. It's not dreadfully unheard of, to say the least. I think of the vast, powerful players at your beck and call, at least they stand to be reasoned with, I will say. But I truthfully do not know how Weavers Chosen are expected to fulfill their goal. I suppose I should be asking you a question, Miss Velithil. What is it that you and the rest of the Seekers want in life? If it was money, you're quite comfortable now, I'd assume.
No, that's exactly a point that I keep wondering about with this, because I did choose this path for a reason, and I do seek ascension to replace the Weavers. That is what I want. I believe JJ wants that as well. I don't know about exactly what Orville and Morgan want, and Cobalt Jones and Celeste think it's all bollocks.
Well, if you might humor the request of an older friend, I think it might be a good conversation to have with each of your associates
into where they see themselves, what they want. Truthfully, I know Mr. Jones is also rather defensive about such things, but I think bearing all might be a good idea, to not stand on pomp and circumstance, and you might see a bit more eye to eye. If the goal is ascension, in your sense and that of Miss Lightning, it would be welcome to know if you had individuals to assist in raising you up to those heights, or if you had individuals that were in it for a certain purpose or gain.
You know, you're very right. I've made little mention and comments in the past, but we've never sat down and had a proper conversation about who we are and what we seek as Weaver's Chosen.
It's a gift of youth that I've often seen, that affords the young all of the time in the world to do with as they please. But there comes a time, I feel, in everyone's life where they truthfully must come to terms with who they are, who they want to be, and move forward on those ambitions, unabated. That time seems rapidly approaching for you and the Seekers. Just my counsel.
Oh, thank you.
Of course.
I appreciate it very much.
He opens the door back to the lofted area. You do note the door handle is crunched. As he goes to reach for it, it's kind of bent up into pieces. He goes, and he just kind of awkwardly kind of twists it with his clawed hand and pulls it back, and you hear it creak and shimmy open, and you are welcome back to the loft with the rest of the group.
Okay, had a chat with Gilnova there. Fine chap. Right, we're extra quiet now. It's a bit more open sounding than what originally I understood of it. It would be a change of quest and profession to go and be in service to Montserrat, but we would still be free to do as we please on this plane. But Bartholomew brought up an excellent point as we were walking back. It's really something that rather deviates from the Weaver's path that I've chosen to walk. And I don't really want to force anything upon anyone now. It's very late, so perhaps we'll continue this conversation in the morning. But I would like to speak about what each of you want, why you have chosen to follow this life. Would anyone like a curse removed?
On that note, I think that is a good place to stop as we return to a bit of this week's downtime. I think certainly a lot more to discuss, consider, and come to decisive action on moving forward here on Second Wake. The Seekers of Gullanthi have much to do. For everyone who stuck with us throughout the night, we thank you for it. Very heavy RP session. Not always everyone's cup of tea. There's not a lot of action in it. But I always like the idea of it's very heavy, down in the muck kind of stuff. So yeah, give that a go. We'll see you guys next week with more Dungeons and Dragons. Might be streaming a bit infrequently this week just because there's a lot on the table. I'm going to try, no matter what, hell or high water, to stream something on Sunday. So probably have that here on the channel. But as always, we know you guys tune in for the Dungeons and the Dragons. And with that, we will definitely be doing more of that next Monday. This week, the group will likely have a lot of interpersonal talks and discussions to have to decide where their journey wants to take them. Got to put the role back in role play, you know what I mean? So with that, we're going to be rating Dork Tales. If you're a subscriber to the channel, please feel free to chime in with the Goblin Raid when we raid. Use any emote from our channel to assault these other D&D streamers. They're currently running Wild Beyond the Witchlight, which is a special episode of How to Run Chapter 1. So if you recently picked up that book, Dork Tales is a really great resource for that. Feel free to check them out, give them a follow, say where you came from and that you love Dungeons and the Dragons, or you just show up to harass me every week. I don't care, whatever you want. But as always, I've been Kareem Zamir. They've been the Seekers of Galanti. This has been Second Wake. We'll see you next week. Peace out.